Okay, if you want to have a look at this question and take it in, maybe pause the video, you can actually have a go answering yourself and see if I've got the same answers. So I've got a quadratic equation. I've got the roots alpha and beta. I don't want to solve this equation at all. What I want to do is try and find alpha squared plus beta squared, and then I want to go on and find another quadratic equation like this with the roots alpha squared plus beta squared. Now, the trick to this is to know about the roots of a quadratic. Because of these particular properties, I can straight away write alpha plus beta down as minus b over a. So it's minus 3 over 4. And I can also write alpha beta down as minus 6 over 4. And minus 6 over 4 is minus 3 divided by 2. Now, I want to find alpha squared plus beta squared. So I require quite a bit of algebra. It's all to do with quadratics. So I'm going to write down alpha plus beta squared, which is this one here squared. So I'm just going to square minus 3 over 4, which is going to give me 9 over 16. Now I'm going to expand that bracket. So I'm going to take alpha plus beta, and I'm going to times it by alpha plus beta, and I'm going to get the answer 9 over 16. So when we expand this, we get alpha squared. Alpha times alpha is alpha squared. I get beta times beta squared, which is beta squared. And you can see now that I've got the alpha plus beta. But I've also got plus alpha beta plus beta alpha. So I've got 2 alpha betas. And so that is equal to 9 over 16 from that very first property here. So alpha plus beta squared, that's what I'm actually looking for. Plus 2 lots of alpha beta is minus 3 over 2, which is just going to give me minus 3, and that equals 9 over 16. So let's just times this out to give me minus 3, add 3 to both sides. So alpha squared plus beta squared is equal to 9 over 16. Now I'm going to add 3 onto both sides, but I'm going to write 3 as 48 over 16. So this gives me 57 over 16. Okay, so that's part A done. Now I want to think about doing part B, and I'm going to need some of these properties in part B. So I might flick back to this page. So the second page. The 2 roots are alpha squared and beta squared. So I'm going to write those out here. When I multiply these out together, I get x squared minus, now x is multiplied by beta and x squared, and x is multiplied by alpha. So I get alpha squared plus beta squared, and these two are multiplied together, so that ends up being a positive alpha squared beta squared. Now let's see what we've got. Alpha squared plus beta squared, I think I just worked out as 57 over 16. And this alpha squared beta squared, well, that can be written as alpha beta all squared. Alpha beta all squared, I think I've already got that down somewhere. Well, I've got alpha beta. If I square it, I have 9 over 4. Okay, so I've basically done this question, except if I go back, they want it in the form A, B, C. And what does this mean? This simply means that they're all integers. So they've got to make them all into integers. So I'm going to multiply everything here through by 16. So I get 16 x squareds minus 57 x's And if I multiply this by 16, it's just going to give me 36. So that's that question completed.